Yeah.
Did you actually log in?
I worked a little bit.
Okay. So.
Yeah.
All right, cool. We're right there. Yes, so,
You guys ready to get started? Yeah, I think Aubrey's about ready. So, I heard you guys were coming in. There are chips and popcorn and warm chips, treat cookies into that. I do use more. I love you. So anyway, I just wanted to say hi, Bailey and Matt, and then we're all off working in different places. Aubrey?
Well, thank you very much. Well, good afternoon. Well, I'm so excited to be here today. I'm going to show you a ton of really fun, cool ideas. And I start every class off with this. Education without implementation is just entertainment.
Yeah.
You guys didn't come here to be entertained today. We're going to have fun. Don't get me wrong. But I want you to lead with something you're going to put in place in your business to drive yourself forward. So all I'm going to ask you to pick one thing today that you put in place. How many? One. You're gonna see a bunch of it. If you're anything like me, you'll attend something in, like you'll see a bunch of good ideas, and then your eyes start glossing over. It's like I've way too much in this tune out, right? So all I'm asking is pick one thing, take notes. And if you're watching, take notes. And I'm gonna ask you towards the end, what is your one thing? You know? So you guys ready to dive in? Yeah, got a question first? Yeah. New stuff. Yes. Okay. We get to finish last time. What I realized after I pulled it up is that was actually a 3-hour CE course that Melvin got certified for me a while back, and I realized it was 3 hours. So did that. Today is probably going to be, I'd say, hour and a half, at the most. And it's gonna be great content, and we're gonna make this somewhat of a mastermind. I'm gonna be asking you guys some questions. If you look around the room, we have some great people in this room. Would you agree? Yeah. Well, let's share. Let's help each other. That's what KW is. All right, you guys ready to jump in? Yeah. Okay. All right. As we talked about last time, imagine a world you wake up every day and you have warm referrals coming in. What we're going to focus on today is imagine a world where every person you work with, while you're working with them, they introduce you to 2 people before you're done helping them. Imagine how much easier things would be, right? And if that's the case, you don't have to worry about hunting for new business because every person is introducing you to 2. Okay, is it possible? 100%. How? I've done it for years and helped numerous agents do the same thing. I had 100+ warm referrals every single year coming in from a database of just 150 people. What a database happens? It was loving on them. And there's 2 words I want you to write down: surprise and delight. Surprise and delight. Every second you're working with somebody, you want to surprise and delight them. You want to roll out the red carpet. I'm going to give you an example. What's a hotel chain that's really known for rolling out the red carpet and doing a great job for people?
W.
What's that?
The W.
The W as well, right? So you think that there's a few that pop in your mind. I'll use the Ritz-Carlton example. We had a lady that was head of the customer experience for Ritz-Carlton. Hey, come and share with us in a luxury event on how they roll out the red carpet for everybody. And she gave an example. She said there was a kid who left his teddy bear there, right? And he and his parents had flown back, back to wherever they were from, and long gone, right, on the plane back at home. And the parents called in and said, "Hey, I'm so sorry, our son left his teddy bear there. It's the thing he sleeps with every single night. It's going to be very difficult tonight. However long it takes to get it back, can you please send it to us, right?" So what would most hotels do? They would probably pack it up and ship it out, okay? But they knew that it wasn't going to get there before that kid went to sleep that night, right? So what did they do? They went around, they took this little bear, and they put him in the spa with a little towel over him, and little cucumbers on his eyes, and pretended like he was getting a massage, and took a picture of it. Then they went over to the golf course and put him on the golf little caddy thing, like he's playing golf. And they went to the restaurant, took a picture. They sent 3 or 4 or 5 different pictures, and they sent a message to the parents. They said, "Hey, we want you to know that while you've been gone, Teddy's been having a wonderful day. He's really relaxed, and he's looking forward to seeing you tomorrow." Right? So they sent that over to the parents. The parents showed it to their kid. And their kid was like, oh, he's having a great time. And their parents were able to say, we'll be here tomorrow. He's having a blast at Hilton, he's gonna be here tomorrow, or the Ritz, sorry, the Ritz, and be here tomorrow. And if that, could they have put it in the box and mailed it? Absolutely. But it took them maybe 20, 30 extra minutes for one person just to walk around, snap a couple pictures and shoot them off to the parents and provide that wow experience. So what hotel chain do you think that family's gonna choose the next time they're in that area? Without a doubt, without a doubt. And I'm gonna show you a bunch of things today, and you might ask me, like, well, what is the one thing you did? What is the one thing you did that really drove that number of referrals from a not very big group of a database? And the reality is not one thing. And let me ask you a question. For those of you that are married, never been in love, right? I want you to think back and say, well, what was the one thing that caused you to fall in love with that person? You can't answer it. Why? Because it's not one thing. It's a series of things that made you feel special. Maybe it was if one time you get home and your spouse, you had a really good day, your spouse maybe didn't. And you just listen to what, and you don't talk about how great your day was, you just listen. Or maybe it's all the little tiny touches you do with the flowers and everything else you do, or dinner, or whatever you do to make that person feel special. And at some point, something happens, the click happens, and that person falls in love with you, right? It's the same thing in this scenario, where we want our clients to love us in the most wonderful way, and we're gonna pour into them, and pour into them, and pour into them, and so they can't help but feel guilty if they didn't tell everybody else they know about us. Does that make sense? I've never used that analogy word. Does that work? Does that make sense? Okay, all right, ready to jump in? Yes? Yeah. Okay, yeah. All right, so I'm gonna jump past the stuff we covered the other day, and you guys can go back. I sent out the slides, just those slides. I did not send out the ones we're gonna cover today. And I'm gonna pick up with during the transaction. So while we're working with somebody, how do we get them to introduce us to more people during the transaction? And I'm gonna start off here. And this is where we left off last time, and I'm gonna share this with you one more time. So when we meet with somebody, it's a privilege. Are there a lot of agents in the industry right now? Yeah. Everybody knows 5 or 10 agents. Yet we want them to choose us. And when they do, it's a privilege that they do. So here's where this all starts. We're gonna orchestrate this from day one. We're gonna plant referral seeds, okay? And one thing I want you to remember as often as possible is remove the word referral and instead insert the word introduced. Referral is the word we use inside our industry, right? Introduced is more regular word that most people would use, okay? So this is what this looks like at the very first appointment. Let's say I'm doing a listing consultation with somebody, and I'm sitting down at the table. Let's say I'm meeting with Cravens, right? And I'll say, Cravens, my whole goal is for you to be so outrageously happy with the help I provide that you gladly introduce me to 2 people before I'm even done helping you make this move. Cravens, most people, they're worried where most agents, they're worried where their next deals will come from. They're cold calling, they're door knocking, they're mass marketing. Craven, I want to spend my time focusing on you, right? And I know when I spend my time focusing on you, you're going to have a phenomenal experience. And I know you want a phenomenal experience, right? All right, Cravens, here's how I know I did a good job for you. That you'll feel comfortable placing my name with yours, and you'll introduce me to people as you come across them with these real estate clients. Can you do that for me? Great. Do you guys see the delivery of that? I didn't make it about, hey, send me business, I need referrals. What I made it about is I started off with my goal for you to be so outrageously happy. Outrageously is not a normal word. It's called a pattern interrupt, an NLP, because it's not a word we normally use. And it causes people to listen. When they hear a word they don't normally hear, it causes them to listen. So I want you to be so outrageously happy, right, with the service I provide, that you gladly introduce me to the people you care about. Okay? And that's saying, what's the benefit to them? Most other agents, so here's why I'm different. Most other agents are spending their time focusing on other people, finding their business, cold calling, door knocking, mass marketing. So that's the differentiator. I want to spend my time focusing on you. He wants that, doesn't he? Doesn't he want me to focus my time on him? So he gets it. Now he's listening. And I say, here's how I know I did a good job, right? You introduce me to people that you care about. Does that make sense? And I put a number to it. I said 2. And that's how I know I did a good job. So now we've planted the seed. And when you put a seed in fertile soil, you still have to do what? You're still going to have to water it. If we don't water it, the seed's never going to sprout. So we can't just say it once. We're like, well, I told them, we're good. They'll remember. No, we won't. We've got to remind them, but in a very purposeful way, in a way that they're compelled to want to reach or to tell everybody they know about us. So let's talk about what that looks like. I'm going to I did send this slide out. This is the last slide I sent out in the attachment. I'm just starting off here because this is where it all starts with during the transaction. This is the guy named Mike Hicks. I won't play it. He has his own version of what's called a promise. Is what he calls it. I gave the link in there. So when I send this back out today, these slides will be all the slides. Just click that. It's a hyperlink. You just click it, it'll bring the video up a couple minutes long. Watch that video. The one I just gave you, I got from a guy named Joe Stump a long time ago. Have you heard of Brian Levine?
Yeah.
Brian Levine worked for Joe Stump. That's who he initially worked for. And then he realized he had a great thing going, and Brian Levine said, I'm gonna open up my own, referral-based business, and he did a great job. So Joe Stump was initially the person who hired him. So that's where I got that one from. Mike Hicks shares his, put your home together. Put one together that works for you, okay? All right. Okay, okay, I wanna do this. Okay, at the end of a meeting with Cravens, and did I bring a piece of paper? Can I write on something?
I have a case.
Good. Thank you. I've got it. Okay, so towards the end of this consultation with Cravens, we're gonna go through everything we normally go through, market analysis, we get the home ready, put it up for sale, all that stuff, talking about next steps. Towards the end, I'd say Cravens, I'd love to play, I love getting to know the people I care about that I'm working with. I'd love to take just a minute or two, just ask you a couple of fun questions, kind of like a game. Would you be okay for just a few minutes if I ask you a question or two? Hey, he's gonna say yes. Like, everybody's like, well, I can ask you. Yeah, okay. So, all right, so we're gonna really do this right now, okay, Cravens, we can get real answers. And I want you guys to follow along, and you're gonna see how you can use this so many different ways to wow people, okay? All right, so, Cravens, let's say we're at the gas station. Okay, and you might have heard Andy and Leslie talk about this. They credit me with it. I got this from somebody else. I did share it with Andy and Leslie. Now they share it with other people, but let me plus one this. Okay, so Cravens, let's say we're at the gas station. I handed you $1. Okay, hand you a dollar bill. You had to spend it. You can't save it. You can't give it away. What would you buy for $1?
At a gas station?
Yeah.
How much is the car? No, I'm just kidding.
Might bring it to
The little guys.
I don't know, you can buy.
Slim Jim. Slim Jim. Yeah, what would you get?
Play along, play along.
Okay, that's one bill.
Really, what would you buy? I give you $1 right now. We're at the gas station. You get, little odds of it.
I think for $1, I could buy one of those gumball.
The gum, which are the, what, a machine that has a gumball?
No, you can buy them individually.
Okay, individual, I have not seen those. I love gum, I eat Orbit, the wintergreen or whatever it is, I'm gonna have to see about those gumballs, I love those as a kid. All right, so, let's say I give you $5. What do you get, if you got more money now, what do you get, $5?
I'd get a drumstick, ice cream drumstick.
Oh, yeah. They're getting rid of, the birds are getting rid of chocolate tacos. Yeah, but the ice cream drumsticks, those are good. Okay, I love chocolate ice cream. I haven't had ice cream drumsticks in a while, give that a shot. Okay, $10. And let's say we're going to, it could be Starbucks, it could be a sandwich shop, it could be any example, $10, what would you grab?
$2, we'll remember that. Maybe Chick-fil-A.
Chick-fil-A, they're frequent flyer card at Chick-fil-A. I didn't get one. I heard they have an app. I don't have it. but I heard they have it.
Yeah,
you
I
can get free food.
got a free thing.
Yeah, you can get free food.
Yeah. What do you usually get there?
The spicy thing.
Okay. I like spicy stuff too. All right. I used to get the one that had it, Wendy's. I haven't had that in a while. But spicy chicken, sandwich at Chick-fil-A. I usually get the grilled chicken nuggets. All right, just a couple more. $50. Let's say I hand you $50. You can go anywhere, Cravens, do anything with it. You gotta spend it today, though. What'd you get?
I probably go to Still Fire.
You get what?
Go to Still Fire Brewery.
Oh, man, okay, all right. Where's, I'm for Still Fire, where's it at?
It's in downtown Swanson.
What are they known for? What kind of a special beer that they do there?
The Orange Diva is one of their flavors, but I don't like Glory Days.
Glory Haze?
Mhm.
Okay. I'm gonna get that. Okay, I'll try it out though, Still Fire, we go there. All right, last one, $100, gotta spend it, what'd you get? And you can take somebody with you if you want, $100, what'd you
I'd go to Bare Bones,
Bear, what is their bones?
the steak place in Buford.
Okay. Okay, I love steak. We eat at Milton's a lot, and I get steak there and the chops, you know, a decent bit. What's the best cut they have at Bear Bones? What were you getting?
Yeah, so I was about to say, I get the ribeye.
Ribeye.
Fill out about it.
Yeah, that flavor. Okay, cool. All right, listen, Craven, I'm going to get to know you. Here's what happens next. I'm gonna have a stager come by. I don't want you to spend any money on something you won't get back out. They're gonna help you stage the home. Because stage homes typically bring about 3% more money. And as we're entering into a market where there's more competition, we want yours to stand out and bring as much as possible, right? So that's the next step. And then I'll send the photographer out. So we'll talk soon. I'll call you again on Monday. We'll go from there, okay? Then, right? Here's how we use this. Okay, this is how we use it. Let's fast forward 3 months. And let's say, or 2 months, let's say this house is up on the market, we get it under contract, we're out looking at homes to buy. And let's say in my car, when we meet for the first time, I have a ice cream drumstick, you know, from you know, the gas station, and I have some gumballs, right? How do you feel when he shows up and I say, hey, Cravens, it's hot out today? You know, it would be hot 3 months from now, right? I actually might like still good. And so I hand him that ice cream drumstick. How do you feel? Right there.
That's like, wow.
And remember, it's been 2 or 3 months, and this was a 60-second conversation we had. He's like, how did you remember that? I don't tell him, you know, I put it in my CRM on the log. I said, you know, I just got to remember, I said, I remember us having that conversation that you really enjoyed those. I was at the gas station anyway, filling up my gas, I saw him there, so I grabbed him 3 grades. He feels good, right there, right?
Yeah.
Remember, it's not one thing, it's gonna be multiple that you'll do throughout the process that will give him that wow experience, okay? Fast forward a little bit more. Let's say closing, the day after closing. What if he's moving in the house and I show up at lunchtime and in my hand I have a Chick-fil-A sliced chicken sandwich? What kind of drink do you say you usually get with it? I forgot to ask you that.
Oh, Powerade.
Yeah, which flavor? They have blue, yeah, that's the one I like. So blue Powerade. So imagine I show up on Saturday in the middle of the move, and with me I have the Chick-fil-A spiked chicken sandwich and the blue Powerade. It's like, Cravens, I know you're gonna be really busy moving today, and a lot of people during move day, they just forget to eat. I thought I'd bring some food. How do you feel then? Pretty good, right? Again, you're like, how in the world did you remember this? Okay. All right. One more thing. Let's say closing gifts. So many agents struggle with what do I get for a closing gift? And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with a Home Depot gift card or whatever else. They'll use it, but we want to again have a way to wow them. You know. So what might I do for him? I might do Stillfire or maybe Bare Bones. I probably give him a gift card to Bare Bones. I go by there and get a gift card from Bare Bones. I'd probably do something else as well, but this because I give a gift card, that would be the one to give. Right? And I'll say, hey, you know, buying and selling a home is not easy. Moving is not easy. You know, I want you to have a night on me. Here's a Bare Bones gift card. Take you to friend. You know, again, you're like, wow, you remember Bare Bones? That is my favorite restaurant. Thank you. You see what I mean? Wow, surprise and delightful. Do you guys see how to use this? Is it helpful? We're gonna start using this. Yes, please do. I cannot tell you. This is one thing. I'll pick a couple.
It's amazing.
It works so well. It works so well. This is so we did this. I taught this a long time ago, probably 3 or 4 years ago. I remember we went on a ALC retreat, and we were all sitting. We were in the North Georgia Mountains at a winery, and we were all sitting around like they had the outside fireplace, and we were just talking. And one of them brought up, "Hey, let's do that name." So we all sat in a circle and did that just as a group. You know, you can use this in a lot of different fun ways. You know, not just work related. So, all right. So that's this exercise. If I would give you $1 to spend, what would you spend on? 5, 10, 20, 50, 100, right? Okay. Okay, so orchestrate. Okay, so we planted the referral seed up front. We talked about our goal to get 2 people, 2 introductions, because we did a great job with that. We need to reinforce that. We need to water it. Okay. So 4 to 7 days after the initial consultation, so within a week, we're gonna have different touches. Okay, there's gonna be ones we talk to them on the phone. There's gonna be ones that we see them in person. There's gonna be ones that we email to them, such as their search, things like that that are set up. And there's also gonna be printed ones. Remember that communication pyramid we went through? So I'm gonna show you the 3 printed ones as well as some digital ones. So 4 to 7 days after the initial consultation, send a particular activator letter. And this is what this says. It says, dear Cravens, have you ever heard of your reticular activator? Did you know you can have one? Your reticular activator system is part of your brain that heightens your awareness of certain things around you. You buy a new car, suddenly you start seeing cars like yours everywhere you turn. You pick up a cool new pair of shoes and suddenly you see other people wearing those same shoes. It's not that they weren't there before, those are just the type of things that your RAF makes you aware of. Cravens, what does this have to do with your upcoming move? Well, your reticular activating system has now been heightened around moving. You're likely to find yourself in conversations with other people who are thinking about potentially buying or selling a home all the time. And cravens, all I ask is that when you, all I ask is when you find yourself having those conversations, that you think of me and give me a ring to talk about how you can connect with them. My goal is to spend my time serving great clients like you and those you introduced me to, rather than advertising to the general public for your business. Cravens, you feeling comfortable putting your name to mine is how I know that I did a great job for you, and how I built a referral-based business. Cravens, I sincerely thank you for anyone who sent my way, whether it works out with them or not. And you have my commitment that I'll do a wonderful job for anyone you introduce me to. It's very important that I honor you and always make you look good. I promise I'll always do exactly that. I'm very grateful for you and our journey together. Your friend, real estate Aubrey. How does that feel?
Sound.
It's warm, you know, it's something, it's very warm, and it's filled with a lot of gratitude. It's friendly, yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, so that came from, this is the Joe Stuff piece. I edited and changed a lot of the words in it, but that's where I initially got that and changed the pictures and everything too. Okay. All right, after due diligence period. So we had one we'd send within 7 days, and then this one I'd send after due diligence period. And the reason I did this after due diligence period is I used to send this during like within the first week or two, and do deals sometimes fall apart? Yeah, wouldn't it be bad if they got something like congratulations on your upcoming closing when they're like, Aubrey, we terminated that deal yesterday, like, order your home. Right? So I learned to do this after we get to due diligence. Okay. And cookies to the office, the home or their office. And Fifth Street is a great one to use. They send warm cookies. Okay? Yeah. They're delicious. They're back there. I know they're still warm, but they come warm, you know. So why would I send it to their office if I have their office address?
Referrals, they're gonna use that from.
Their friends and every walk, their coworkers, they walk by the office, telling me warm cookies, saying, "Hey, where do you get the cookies from?" Yeah, they're saying my realtor. And you're a realtor, squishy cookies? Yeah, you know, that's what we're looking for, right? But then, now, if you don't have their office address, that's okay. Send me their home. That's okay. Send me their home. But after the due diligence period, just saying congratulations on getting under contract. You know, looking forward to a smooth closing. Here's some cookies. You know, okay. And what does this street cost? Like maybe 30. It depends on what size you get. 25, 30 bucks. Probably gone up a lot now because of everything else. But, yeah, 30 for a dozen. Yeah, delivery. Okay. People are so quick to spend hundreds of dollars a month, if not more, to try to generate leads from people they don't know, rather than pouring it back into the people that already know them, like, and trust them. Make this the year of the database. Where you're going to pour all your energy into your database and just love on it. Okay. So cookies. All right. So our next one, this is called a popcorn deal. Okay. And if you send it after the financing contingency ends, and you include a gift card. Now, I'm going to read this to you. It says, you know, dear Craven, buying and selling the home can be as nerve-wracking as it is exciting. Hang in there. I'd like to invite you to take a deep breath, put your feet up, enjoy a quiet evening on me. I've enclosed a gift card and a pack of popcorn, so an actual pack of popcorn. And I want you to know how much I'm enjoying helping you on this journey, and that you having a great experience is very important to me. Craven, I also want to take a moment to remind you that when you introduce me to your family, your friends, and your colleagues, it allows me to devote my time and energy to keeping a close eye on the details of your upcoming closing, rather than spending my time looking for new clients. When you bump into someone you know who needs some real estate advice, I would be honored if you just think of me and give me the first chance to help them. My promise, as always, is that I'll provide anyone you introduce me to with the same level of service that I'm providing you. Thanks again, and sit back and relax. You're in real estate office. Okay, again, one letter. How much does a bag of popcorn cost? $1. Because you back you get a pack of 5 for $5. You get the Costco, it probably costs you 50 cents a bag, right? So a bag of popcorn, you can send a priority mail, just drop the bag of popcorn in the bag, and then put a letter like this in. And the gift card, maybe a $5 or $10 gift card, could be a Visa gift card or an Amazon gift card or whatever else in the grocery store. So they can rent a movie on their favorite platform. Make sense? Okay. Again, it costs us $5 or $10. you know, it costs dollars to mail it. Great investment, okay? And I want us to get away from what we're spending and more of what message we're giving to them. The message they're getting is, I care about you, I'm grateful for you, I'm thinking about you, right? No matter what it is that we're sending, okay? Edit this with something else that you love sending, okay? Make sense? Okay. All right, so that's after financing contingency events, okay? So we planted the seed up front. And then within 7 days, we sent the reticular activator letter. Then after we got out of due diligence, about a week or so later, we sent the cookies. Yep. And then about a week or so later, financing contingency ends, and we're sending the gift card with the popcorn. Okay. All right. All right. Now we're getting to the closing table. I already went through this. We know what Craven's likes. He told us what he likes. And if he was, you know, let's say an avid golfer or something like that, and those came up in the conversations, I might do something like Top Golf. I might get him an evening at Top Golf. You know, just think of something like that, right? You also really want to get something that has shelf life, ideally, if you can find something that will stay there for a while. So let's say somebody is they love to cook, okay? Then maybe get them a custom cutting board from personalizationball.com that has their name on it, like welcome to your new home, the Smith family. You know, and it has on there, and you can brand it stuff, you can write everything off. What I'm curious, let me pause here for a second. I said that we'd be sharing today. What are some of the best clothing gifts you feel like you've given? What are some examples of what you give? Yeah, go ahead. Then we'll go.
This was a single guy, gave him like a bucket with his
Yeah.
last name on it and beer, pretzels, that kind of stuff.
I like that. Okay, very nice. All right.
My next door neighbor, does these really pretty watercolor paintings.
Ooh, okay. Yeah. Okay. So,
And I've gone to Con's house without told him to see things.
I love that. My in-laws, he was in the military, they moved a lot, and their favorite house they had, I can't remember what city he was in, their realtor gave them a watercolor picture of that house. They still have it hanging in this house like 40 years later, you know, on their wall. They talk about it all the time, and that realtor. So, all right, I saw some more hands going up. Let's go here and we'll work our way back.
I get like champagne flute engraved.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, so engraved.
Who does that?
Personalization.
Yeah, personalizationlaw.com, great for that. Yeah, you have one?
Yeah, if the family has a baby or small children, I do a savings bond. But I get one out the computer
Mhm.
because I don't have their social security number. And I do a little note and a letter, let me be one of the first outsiders to give your child their first savings bond for their college.
Quick way to someone's heart, get something to their kid.
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah. Mhm.
This one made a few clients kind of checked out the photos, but, I've gone on Amazon, I ordered a dog tag with the address, and the contact, so if the dog gets out, they get the call and I bought a dog bed too for the dog to the house. That's right.
I love that too. Dogs are part of the family. Okay, all right, I saw some more hands going up. Who got next? Yes.
I had a client that was very outdoorsy and loved nature.
Mhm.
Got her a bird feeder.
Okay.
And every time I talk to her, she brings up that bird feeder. She loves it.
All right, all right. Love that. Yeah, and that was the first one too. You know, yeah, yes. Very good.
Aaron,
Yeah, Eric, gotcha. Yeah, good idea.
Even if it's not the first home,
Mhm.
we should find out what they have and don't have.
Right.
And where they need to update, and then also return address labels.
Mhm. Okay. Okay, got it. Okay, yes.
Piggyback on his, since if they have kids or any children, you just give them some Ring doorbell or some added security for them.
Absolutely, love that. All right, who else? Yes.
A range fan, exhaust fan for a stove.
Oh, wow, yeah, that's a big gift.
Is that a replacement?
No. I was good.
You guys know that Ritz-Carlton, they give every one of their employees the ability to spend $1,000 a day on somebody. 1,000. Like, and that would blow up, like, as a manager, like, oh, we're gonna go bankrupt if we do that. But they hardly ever spend that, right? What it has their mindset in I'm gonna find a way to fix anything that goes wrong. So if somebody comes in and something's going wrong, like, oh, I'm so sorry, let me send you guys to the spa, to help you out, I'm so sorry that happened. It's just a way to wow people. So, Barry, you had another one you want to share?
Yeah, piggyback on Custo, my ADT lady, for a couple, takes care of. Will contact my clients with their permission
Mhm.
and set them up on whatever, security they need, which can be arranged, be additional, and they get a gift. I also get a gift, I tell them I get the gift, and then I turn around and I use the gift I got to get them something else,
Oh, smart. Yeah,
depending on what it is.
love that. Love that. Okay, any other good ideas you guys can share? Well,
Cleaning tools,
Yeah.
like an iRobot, like
Ooh,
vacuum.
yeah, I love those. Those are so neat. Okay. iRobot vacuum.
We used to do cornhole boards with your school on them.
Okay. Love that. Great. And every time they play cornhole, who they think of? They think of a realtor, love that. Okay, perfect. Okay, you guys think of any more, let me know, and I'll check them up there.
Do you leave your contact information on any of these kids?
I absolutely would. Yes, absolutely. Anyone that you can, brand, I absolutely would put your name on the rubber. Yeah, go work on something.
Years ago, I bought some labels, clearly,
Sure.
and I put my name and my company name on them. My cell phone. And I stuck them on a little, I guess I'll give like a flag, give like a little statue or something like to get, what's that thing where you get, like the little clock for the name. These don't use clocks, back then you didn't. So, they were stolen or whatever it was. So like, I had one that I stuck on the castle location. That's like 40 years old, that stickers still stuck there.
That's impressive. Yes. So I love that. Make it as personal as you can. Personalizationmall.com, as mentioned earlier, great website to go to for ideas. So okay, let me take this one step further. We're talking about during the transaction. I'm gonna go one step further to after the transaction. Let's say I was driving around the area and I'm doing my pop buys. Okay, if and I'm setting up, let's say 10 a week that I'm gonna 5 a week that I'm gonna do, 1 a day, or maybe I batch them together on Friday. I'm gonna hit a few people in this area, and next Friday I'm gonna hit a few people in the next area. If I'm stopping by Craven's, I go by his house and do a pop by, what this looks like, my door's open, my car's running, and I would probably have the gum, I mean, I know if he's home. If I can't bring something like milk, like a drumstick, I might bring the gumballs, right? And I might say, hey Craven, I was in the area, I haven't seen you forever, I just want to stop by and say hello, I'm sure you're busy, I just wanted to say hi, and my car is running, my door's open, I got this for you. And this may be 6 months later, or 2 years later, again, this guy, it's just you really want to go above and beyond. Does that make sense? All right. Talk about that. Okay, at closing. So I would hand people this. I would hand them a pizza order form, and I'll say, hey, you're probably really busy moving tomorrow. You probably forget to order food. And I want to take care of lunch for you. So here's the pizza order form. Check off what you guys like, and I'll take care of it. And then I called a couple of different pizza places in the area and actually negotiated where they would give me like the buy one, get one free all the time. I didn't have to have a coupon for it. It's like, hey, every closing I have, I'm likely going to call you and order some pizza. Can you at least give me some kind of ongoing discount? They're like, sure. Like, what's the best discount you can do? And how about buy one, get one free? Let's do it. So then they can check off what they want. Got it? Okay. Again, you don't have to do all of these. How many am I saying to implement? Fine, just one, pick one. Start doing that, and then maybe once you have that going, do another one, right? Okay. All right, your new address. This kind of goes to the labels that a couple people mentioned. The stamp mailer goes a week after closing. It says, Travis, congratulations, or in this case, Craven, congratulations on your new address. You've likely been busy unpacking boxes and getting things settled over the past couple of weeks. I'm guessing you didn't rush out and purchase a new address stamp with your updated information. So I wanted to save you the hassle and prepare it for you. Enclosed, you'll find your personalized address stamp so you can quickly address letters or bills. We pay most of our bills online now, but I found it especially helpful when sending things like birthday cards and holiday cards and anything else that can't be paid or sent with a click of a button. I also included a flash drive with the documents pertaining to your home purchase. I had they look like keys, or thumb drives look like keys, and they're password protected with the 4 digits or 3 digits, whatever it was of their previous address. Right? That's how I always knew. So if somebody would call me later, like, I think my documents is tax time. I didn't have to remember what their password was. I just picked I was like, well, it should be the first four, numbers of your old address, you know? You couldn't make it the last four of your phone number, you could use your. Do they? Yeah.
Yeah.
Over the next few weeks, you'll most likely run into a few friends, family members, or coworkers who may mention they need to buy or sell a home. My hope is that as you notice these people, you remember that you have a friend in the real estate business. I'm counting on you to help get me connected with the people you care about who might need my help to take care of all of it, right? And you can get these at rubberstampchamp.com, rubberstampchamp.com. They're like $11, $12. So I put it in those little priority mail boxes, you know, ones that were kind of made for books. They're that size. I put when they send it, the stamp would come to me. I put it in the box because I need to put this in there with it. You know, so I fold this up there, stick it in there, and then mail it off. And you can do all this from your home. You don't have to go to the post office. You can create an account with the U.S. Postal Service, and you can have these boxes at home. You can print labels up from home. You just stick it in your mailbox. You know, so we'll have somebody else do it for you. Okay, so that's 1 week after closing. All right, not in the town mailer, 30 days after closing, they would get this. And it would say Craven. It seems that every town has that special restaurant that all the locals love to visit, and Canton is no exception. I'm not sure if you had a chance to visit the Snug Gastro Pub yet, but they serve some of the best food around. It's been a long time favorite for locals in the area, and I'd love for you to experience it for yourself. Please use this gift certificate to the Snug Gastro Pub for a fantastic night out, and have the address at the bottom. So let's put a $50 gift card. Okay, make sense? And it was just a checklist. So every client had a checklist, you know, it had a timeline. So it would trigger me to do these different things. Any command, use command, or whatever CRM you use, you can set up triggers. So I used to use Brivity a lot. That was a CRM that I used a lot. And I would set up action plans, you know, so whenever something happened, it would trigger certain things. And it was like, if this, then that. So if we get through due diligence, it would pop up one day, it would say, are you through due diligence period? If I check yes, then it tells me to send this. If I check no, then it would not this. But you see what I mean? It has triggers, so I know when to send it. And you can do that in command as well. Make sense? Yeah.
We can give the total cost of like all these steps, like, per client.
$200. Yeah, $2 or $3. Yeah. Remember that last class, I showed you the value of one client, and Pam Griffith drew it out. It was like 200, it was like a crazy big number, the 6-figure number from one person, right? And it's just pouring into them so often, they can't help but telling everybody they know about you. And will have. Yeah, yes,
Start with one.
yeah, start with one.
That doesn't mean start with one that's $1,000.
Right.
Like the Ritz does, right?
Right, exactly.
It's start with one
Mhm.
and then increase.
That's it. That's it. That's it. Yeah. Mhm.
A lot of things seem to be geared for buyers. You have like similar ideas.
So most people,
Move out of town.
yeah, most people, so there are gonna be a small portion that move out of town. Those ones I honestly didn't spend a lot of time focusing on because they're gone. They're not here talking to people locally anymore, you know? Where I send them a couple things, yes, I would do some of the more automatic touches, which we talked about last time. Some of this stuff I wouldn't do. I do a few of them. So during the transaction, every single one of those I would absolutely do. The cookies, the reticular activator, you know, the popcorn mailer, all of that, because I'm looking to maximize what I can in the time I have with to really wow them. You know, but after the closing, no, I give them a nice closing gift to take with them. Maybe that watercolor picture of their house to take with them, we can move into a different area, you know, but not much after that. If they're out of town. Good question. Great question.
Probably not a bad idea though, to think about doing something for those that are going out of town, because we're not just local anymore.
Right.
We want to be,
It's true.
we can be worldwide.
Yeah.
We can be
Yeah, get in touch with an agent out there.
exactly wherever they are. It's always possible we refer them out to the big eye,
Mhm.
and they're still gonna know people here,
That's it. Yeah.
and they're still gonna have family.
Yeah, nothing wrong with sending it. I think that'd be smart. Yeah.
If you're starting thoughts going, that's all.
Yeah, there you go. I
That's
love
why
that.
I thought I'd share it.
That's the purpose of this, to get your mind going, like Mary Ann has, to say, well, how else can I fund this? I love that. Yeah. Okay, here's one that went out a year after closing. And I'm just gonna give you the short version of this off the top of my head. It says something along the lines of, cravings. You know, I remember when Sarah and I moved into our house, a year ago, 5 years ago. It seems like, actually, no, I haven't read it. I'm way off. Okay. Cravings, when we moved to our home, we thought we'd be totally settled in and have the home decorated in just a few months. However, there we were nearly a year later. It seemed like every time I opened a closet door or went into the attic, I find more artwork or pictures that have yet to be hung on the wall. Cravens, I have a feeling that I'm not alone here, and I've enclosed a few handy picture hanging hooks to help you get motivated to finish that grade. I kept a few of them myself, and I'm working on doing the finishing touches on home too. I hope you've adjusted to your new surroundings and are enjoying your home as well. Cravens, this is the part of it. I missed our daily conversation, and I want you to know how much I enjoy working with you. And Cravens, if ever again you have any needs, real estate later or not, I want you to know I'll be here for you. I also want to take a moment to remind you how important referrals to the introductions are to my business. If someone you know is looking for real estate advice, I would be honored if you give me the first chance to be of assistance. My promise, as always, is I'll provide anyone you introduce me to the same level of service that I provided you. Thanks again and hang in there. Oh,
Wow.
so how much, you guys seen these books before, right?
Yeah.
They cost nothing. Like I pulled it up on Amazon, I actually plugged this in the parking lot before I walked in, because I want to show you what they cost. This one is, it is 50 of them for $12, you know, they're cheap, they're pennies. You get them on Amazon. And they're really easy to put in. You really just push it in the wall, you know, and all that ends up sticking out is that little tiny hook on the end, and it can hold up like 50 pounds. They get a, this one's a 100. You know, 100 pounds. But you get the idea, right? Really easy, again, it's touch. I love this section. I miss our daily conversations and wanting you to know how much I enjoy working with you. That's a really nice thing to say. Okay?
It's true.
It is true.
It is
And if
true.
it's not true, just take that sentence out. I'm gonna call it.
Yeah.
And still use it.
Despite of all the attitude you gave me, I'm still.
Whatever, like you said, personalize and whatever sounds like us.
Right, yes, edit it, make it your own. Don't use this exact one, because this one, it's been edited a little bit, but most of it came from, you know, a long time ago. So, make sense? Okay, people, Maya Angelou said, you know, people will forget what you did, don't forget what you said, they'll never forget how you made them feel. And it's all about making them feel special, make them feel like you're the only person in the world. Everybody wears this invisible sign around the neck, I have the host used to say this. And it says, it's invisible, can't see it, but everybody wears it, myself included, it says, make me feel important, make me feel important. And all these little touches are making them feel important. You guys follow that? Yeah. All right. Okay, after that, you're just implementing your 36 touch plan. You know, I had a few touches we do after a year. So it's, you know, 30 days after closing, you have the night of the town mailer, you have the 1 year after closing, the picture hanging hooks, and a couple other touches. But they need to be added in your 36 touch plan. That's what we covered last time with the 36 touch. Okay, there's more to it. 36. Be sure to put your systems in place to ensure the touches get done. Most agents, when I talk to them, you know, they're like, no, I got this, I'm good, you know, and if they have one client at a time, they're probably fine. But then there comes a month when they have 4 closings, they're for the first time ever, they're like running around like a chicken with their head cut off. And is it possible they may forget to do some of these touches?
Yes.
Gary, exactly. Gary says people won't hire us for who we are. They hire us or refer us for the experience they had when working with us, right? How we made them feel. And the good news is we can document it. We can create what does the ideal experience look like for my clients. And then have it, imagine if you just had, I'm very digital. I love my digital stuff. And yet there were a couple things I kept paper and just it's easy to get to, right? And it's in front of me. I would print up in a folder, I have my touches, and every single client I start working with, I pull it out, write their name at the top of it, and I have my checklist. And every morning I would wake up, I just spend 5 minutes, and I would know, I would just flip through those pages, and I would know, okay, for this person I need to do this, for that person I need to do that. I just knock it out, right? That way I never miss something. And these little things, 1 degree difference, that will start getting consistent referrals. You guys follow me? Okay. Okay. All right. Remember, if you're not calling your database, someone else is. We have those intermediate, these companies are in front of our clients all the time. And it's so easy for them to just click a button. They may say, oh, I have all the intentions, you know, of calling Cravens, but let me just click here for a second. And the next thing you know, they're connected with another realtor. You bump into them at dinner, you know, 6 months later, and you realize they made a move. Oh, that's what we meant to call you, but we just click the button. You don't think they're gonna buy it, but you know, just work out that. You know, it's not their fault that they didn't call us. It's our fault for not being top of mind and in front of them often enough where they would feel really guilty. They think twice about clicking that button. Like, no, I'm gonna call. I'm gonna call. You know, I'm gonna call Cravens. You see what I mean? Okay. Your business is your database. Nurture them, love on them. I don't know if I included this. I don't think I did. Actually, I don't think I did. I'm going to send this out today. I want you to create your 36 touch this is an example of what this looks like. January marketing plan, February, March, April, May, June, like it has all of these and it has what they cost in here. Just write down your plan. Fill in the blank, write down your plan. What you could do, I don't have a PDF version of this. What you could do is take this, when I send the PDF out, say I don't have a PDF, but you get what I mean. You can do a little screenshot of that, place it on a Word document, sit print, it'd be that easy. And then print it out, or write it out. What is your marketing plan gonna be? How are you gonna communicate with people moving forward? Okay, May, June, and all of that. So where did this come from? Someone from Max Coaching, someone from Bikini, someone from Joe Stump, Michael Mayer, we talked about 7 levels of communication last time, Jim Rohn, Zig Ziglar, and all those guys. Do you guys have questions before I kind of wrap this up, for today? Okay. 47 minutes. Okay. Yes. Did you have an assistant doing all this for you? Oh, yeah. Yeah. I was at the integration, I was at 50, 60 deals a year for a few years. There was no way I had time to do all this. And even before that, I'd say once I got to probably 24 deals a year, I didn't have time to do it. Even before then, it was hard. The first person that helped me, I'm not gonna call her my assistant, she would kill me. The first person that helped me was my wife, okay? She helped me with that. And then once I got enough income coming in, I hired somebody to do it for me. And who I hired was actually a past client. She was a stay-at-home mom. And she's like, if you never have any work to be done, I just need some adult time. Like, I don't care about the pay, I just need some adult time. I called her, I was like, hey, how much hours I can give you? It may be nothing one week, it could be 15, 20 the next week. I can't commit to any kind of consistent pay, but I'll have work for you every now and then. Do you want it? She's like, absolutely. So I handed it off to her, and she did it. I paid her $12 an hour from home, to work from home. And she was a medical sales. She was making 6 figures before that. So that's, to go from that to that, you're like, oh, she'd never do that. She didn't care. She had another income in the household. She wanted to be involved, having adult conversations again. And she could do it from home while her baby was there, so she liked it, I give her raises later as a starting. Okay, makes sense? Any other questions? Yeah.
So once you do all the mailers, send everything out, let's say 6 touches, 7 touches, during closing, do after, do you ever call them, make sure they received it, you wait for them to call? If they do call, what are the chances they're gonna call every time they receive something?
Great question. They won't call every single time they get it. And I actually don't mind or not. I don't necessarily call. What I do is I put them on my 36 touch, I call them once a quarter. They get a top 5 once a quarter. That's when I go back to that. So, and then when I pop by, like if I have the gumballs or whatever, they're like, oh, and by the way, thank you so much. I got that night in town mailer for that restaurant, and man, milk was phenomenal. We ate here the other night, and thank you so much. What I would get sometimes is they would be at, let's say, Milton's, and they would send me a text or a picture while they're there. And say, hey, guess where we're at? And it's in a selfie picture of them after dinner. Thanks so much, we love it. That's usually what I hear from. Yeah, they're busy. I'm not expecting them. Great question.
That's what we would do. We would say, "Could you
Yes.
take a picture, we'd love to see it,
Yeah.
and then hopefully we'll tag you.
Yeah. Great example. Yeah.
Aubrey, Coach Doug, do you want to share your bread story? I don't want to give it away. If you don't want to share it, you don't have to.
Yeah,
So
like
you-
through the door knocking,
Yeah,
So I have
tell
a
us the story.
door knocking system, so where I would meet someone, have a conversation about real estate. They give me the information, I come back with a handwritten letter and, just like a market update paper. I won't say anything about that. I hand it to them and say, hey, by the way, this Sunday, my family's from Bosnia. We're gonna make this food, this item. Would you like to try it? I could come by and pop by. Then next Sunday, I'll come by. It's only to deliver the bread. 3-4 days. Hey, did you like the bread? How was it? Everything. That's kind of how.
I love that. That's a very personal touch. And how guilty would they feel if they call you back? That's great. And that's what we're looking for.
Good.
Brett, I can call it.
It's surprising the life. I'm not really gonna make them feel really guilty. And that's what we're doing here. Pouring in and making deposits. Last time when we started, I said, think of it as your data bank, not database. You have to make deposits into a bank before you can ever expect a withdrawal. If you ever want interest on something, you have to first make that deposit. So we're making a bunch of deposits into their life. And we're talking about the cost of doing this, $300 per person. Think of how much people spend per lead for a cold lead off the internet. Close to that, and there's no relationship there. What percent of internet leads work out? About 5% at best. You Google it and look at NAR stats. 5 to 7% considered good, right? So they're spending $200 per lead or more, right? To have a 5 to 7% chance of helping somebody. They're spending $2,000 or more than that to maybe do one transaction. That's a lot. You don't need to do this. You don't need to do that. Okay, great question. Okay, education without implementation is what?
And
That's right. So, what's the one thing you're implementing first? All right, give me feedback, guys. We have written down, take a look at your notes. If you didn't write something down yet, circle the one that you think, you know what, I'm going that first. No, yes.
I like asking the $1,550 question.
Yeah.
Like, I used to count 50 for closing gifts and never answered that.
There you go. You don't have to do every single one of them. Maybe you pick 3 of those. You don't have to do every single denomination of those dollars. You know, pick ones you want. Yeah, great. All right, who else? You've been in here for almost an hour. What'd you get? Okay, we'll go here.
I like the, you know, the constant reiteration, I want your experience to be so great that you're happy to introduce me to your friends. I love that.
Yeah.
Saying that, and we've done that some, but we do it in the listing appointment and we don't follow up with that. So I like the,
I'm gonna give you, I love that you said that. It's a twist on what you're saying. I want to give you guys a help. Can I give you something else? Is that okay? Something else? Okay, I want you to write this down. This is, we talk about a lot of physical touches here. There's some verbal ones and you look at that pyramid of the communication, what's the most effective, face to face, belly to belly, and the next one's gonna be on the phone, right? So I want you to write this down. BRAG, brag, okay? And this is what this looks like. Let's say that it is 3 days before closing. Okay, Friday, today. Let's say you have a closing that's supposed to happen on Monday. Okay, and you realize let's say in this example, you're representing the buyer. You could be selling into the matter. Let's say the buyer. And you realize that you didn't have a receipt for all the repairs. You're looking through the stuff the seller agreed to do, you know, prior to getting the home sold for closing. And there was this big window above the front doors that had it's cracked, water was leaking in it, and they promised to replace it. Okay, and you're looking through the receipt, you're like, I don't see the receipt for the window. You know, so you call the listing agent, and you find out that the seller just couldn't get that window done, and they're just fed up, and the buyers don't want to buy the house, and they don't have to buy the house. You know, emotions get in the way sometimes, right? It happens. So this is what this would sound like. You would call your client, okay? And the B stands for blow it up. Okay. The R stands for resolve. Resolve it. A stands for acknowledge. Acknowledgement, push it written down. And G stands for go green, the green light, go green. This is what this looks like. So I like call and I say, Cravens, hey, listen, it's Friday afternoon. I know we got our closing on Monday. And you know, I care about making sure that everything is done that was promised. I'm looking over everything for you. And I noticed that the listing agent didn't send a receipt for that window. And you told me, man, if they don't replace that window, you're not buying a house. Well, I called the listing agent and sure enough, they had done it. And they said that their contractor that was supposed to do it couldn't get a window. And, you know, Craig, you told me if we didn't have that window replaced, we weren't going to close. And I know you packed up your entire house. You're ready to move. We're supposed to move in 3 days. And the last thing I want is for that to happen. So Cravens, I called in a favor. Okay, so is you with me so far? Blew it up, right? Here's everything happened. So Cravens, I called in a favor. I have a window guy named Bob, specializes in just doing glass. And I cashed in whatever, you know, credit I had built up with him, you know, pulling favors. And he actually has a piece of glass. He moved up to the top of the list. He's coming by tomorrow to replace that glass and repair whatever's there in the rest of the window. And he said he'll have it done, painted, everything done by our closing on Monday. Okay. What do you think? What do you think Cravens would say right now?
Man, that's amazing. Thank you so much.
So exactly, you say thank you. It's amazing. I really appreciate you doing that. You have to do these 2 things first. We're going to say thank you. Now, as you're, I want alarm going off in your head, we're a moment, right? So you say Cravens, happy to do it, right? And I told you how important it was to me that you had an excellent experience. Cravens, I just want to take a minute to remind you how I grow my business is through referral, through introductions, of you introducing me to people that you care about. And I just wanted to ask you again, whenever you come across somebody who's thinking about buying or selling, you promise me you'll take out your phone and be involved. What things to say? Absolutely. Thank you for helping me. That's the least I can do. And I can use so many more examples of things like this. You're looking all through the transaction for referral moments like this, right? And this is a good structure to remember on how to handle this. Okay? Is that helpful to see that? I apologize for pausing to break off. I just did that popped in my mind. So I think we had next guys.
Basically, the same thing, you're systematic, opposed to give some
Yeah.
trinkets.
Yes, absolutely. Okay. All right. Leaving with one thing. What we have, we'll go here and then here.
I like what you mentioned about, talking about introductions as opposed to referrals. I think it's a whole twist and it makes it a very different experience when it has to be.
Right.
So I like that a lot. Yeah, introduce.
Love that. Yes.
Well, I was repeating what she said about outrageously happy,
Mhm.
making you extremely happy, some special. Yeah.
That's all my gratitude. I care about you, you know, that. Yes. Okay. All right. A few more. What else? We can do, you had to have heard at least one thing today. That's how I know that I did a good job here for you guys today. What are you taking away? Who else?
We're gonna print out that one.
Yeah, perfect.
My favorite.
Build it out. Perfect. Yeah.
Well, I like that last one because all these agents are always calling me, telling me, oh, they didn't get it done, they didn't get it done.
Yeah. No, there you go. Solve the problem. I can't tell you how many times I never put my blower in the back of my car because they didn't mow the grass and both parties are blowing up. Like, I'm not gonna mow it and I'm not gonna buy the house. They can't mow it. I'm like, you know what? I'll go mow the grass. You know?
I think that's, I mean, that's what I have to regret. Besides, putting the ring on it, but I don't make a big deal about it. I guess
I'm
not
telling
the
you,
right mindset.
this
That is
structure.
the moment.
This is the moment. Now you had a structure and a way, a path to get those referrals where they're saying thank you, you know, so. Okay. All right. Okay. All right, so.
Well, and if you don't do this and it's not done, the whole bad taste that comes in the mouth at closing is kind of like, why didn't you fix this?
There's been some times where I have, paid, let's say repair was supposed to be done prior to closing and it just can't get done prior to closing. If I'm getting a $12,000 check and repair is $500, I'm not gonna let the deal fall apart over $500, right? And they have their whole house packed up. It has to be a contractor I trust, but I paid the contractor ahead of time. Like if there's a window or whatever else, I just cut them a check. So when I'm making that call, I say, look, seller's pushing back. I know how important this is to you. I just personally took care of it. They're gonna do it after closing, but if it's a contractor I trust, I personally pay them. I have a relationship with them. You have my word, they're gonna get it done. It's already taken care of. I'll send you a copy of the receipt. So you have it. I've done that before too, you know? It's worth it to me because now they really feel embedded, you know? Now when I say that, absolutely, you did that, thank you so much. Yes, actually, my friends at work are thinking about making a move. Let me get you connected. Okay. I'm gonna leave you guys with this. I put this together, actually in the car, in the parking lot here. I had part of it already put together with the old one I had to use before, and I finished it up. So I want you to pause for a second and just imagine a scenario, okay? You're stepping into your car and, you know, you're turning the key or pressing the start button, you're putting it in the drive, and you're thinking to yourself in this moment that you can only drive down the road that you drove down yesterday. You can only associate with the street signs you know, the places you've already gone, that your reality now is determined by what you've already done. So adjusting it, you would say that's outrageous, right? That's crazy. Yesterday's path has nothing to do with where I'm going right now. Just like a boat's weight has nothing to do with where it's going next. Who controls it? The person holding the wheel, right? Yet how often do we confuse the path we took yesterday with the one that we need to take right now? How often do we hold on to what happened yesterday? Ultimately, the gateway to change is unshackling from ourselves from the chains of yesterday and realizing it's our two hands that are on the wheel and we get to decide where we want to go moving forward. Cutting ties with those things that no longer serve us, it's only when we're willing to cut those ties with the things that no longer serve us that we're able to finally see the world as it truly is, one of opportunity and hope. It's only when we're willing to be vulnerable enough to look in the mirror and say, I can be more than this. I was made for more than this, that positive change happens. I will not let my past control me. Instead, I choose to carve a new path, to take a new road, to go on a new direction. That I know what I want is possible, and I choose to believe in myself and no longer be captive to the past. So today, Let's grab a hold of the wheel, move from being a passenger in life to being the driver, and let's head toward the path we were capable of. Thank you, guys.
You think that in your car? Pretty good, man. What-